I actually started just playing around making prints on Canva, and then I would press them on, like, sweatsuits and stuff,
Right.
and I had my face on them, and it
Mhm.
was, like, completely different than this,
Right.
and I sold custom stuff like that for a little bit, um, and then I took a break because I just wasn't feeling like myself and
Mhm.
wasn't able to create,
Right.
and one day I was like, "Okay, I got all this old denim, I got a random Chipotle hat right here. Let's just see what's gonna happen. I wanna do arts and crafts."
Right.
And
Yeah,
then I
yeah, yeah.
discovered that I could do this, and
Mhm.
I blew my own mind. And
Yeah,
then
right.
I started applying it to shoes and headphones and stuff like that. So that's kinda how I started, but it really started with, like, sweatsuits.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk, the Style Crypt. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today we have a very special guest with us today. She is a fashion designer, fashion accessory designer. Please welcome Solai. Hello, Solai, and how are you?
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. I want to go ahead and get started by asking where you're originally from and tell us a little about your upbringing, where you're from, things like that.
Mhm. So I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland,
Mhm.
and my upbringing, I mean, I've always been a creative person. I've always had my hands in stuff. Like I was always joining random clubs. I was in like the garden club, chess club,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So growing up, I was always doing activities, always had my hands on something,
Mhm.
and just trying to have fun and express myself like in a creative way.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. Yeah, totally. Now I want to get into as far as your school experience. What was like your school experience like, high school, middle school, elementary school, possibly college or trade school, things like that.
hmm So in elementary school, I went to a school called Thomas Jefferson,
Mhm.
and I went there from kindergarten to 5th grade, and my aunt actually worked at the school,
Okay.
so I was very much in line, like, everything was turned in on time,
Yeah.
and she knew all my teachers, they were best friends,
Oh,
so
wow.
from there, I didn't really have, like, a lot of freedom, so once I got
Mhm.
to 6th grade, I started getting a little wild. A little wild and making new friends and stuff like that, and I
Mhm.
actually went to the same school from 6th grade to 12th
Oh,
grade.
wow.
It was
Okay.
an all-girls school in downtown Baltimore.
Mhm.
So, those girls, they became my sisters. I don't really talk to a lot of them now, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right.
during those times, I
Mhm.
really established sisterhood, and then I went to community college after that,
Mhm.
and from there, I've just been trying to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, totally. That's totally understandable. I want to get into as far as the next question in terms of fashion. So, who or what exposed you to fashion? And did you go to a creative school or did you take classes to learn fashion or was it all self taught?
Mhm. So, I mean, everything has been self-taught.
Hmm.
Um, I never even touched anything regarding fashion when I was growing up. I was more a person who always went to museums, like Artscape. We have a thing called Artscape in Baltimore. They have local business sellers, and you can like buy art and things like that.
Hmm.
So I grew up in that type of environment, and then I always knew that I wanted to be an artist in any kind of way
Right,
because I loved the things that I was seeing.
right. Hmm.
So growing up, that's the art that I was around, like, I saw that a lot, and I really
Yeah,
didn't know I was into fashion until I was shopping one day, and I was like, "None of these stores has, like, anything that I want,
right.
so I gotta start making it," and then I just started playing around,
Hmm.
and that's how I got here.
Now, I want to get into as far as like black designers, like who are like your favorite designers, like black designers, possibly.
Mm. One of my favorite designers is Brandon Blackwood.
Hmm. Yeah, mine
Mhm,
too.
he
Yeah.
is yes, he is incredible. I always say he's my number 1 before anybody else, and
Mhm.
honestly, I love his work ethic,
Yeah.
and I love how he supports, like, Black, models and things like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, for sure, Brandon Blackwood is, like, at the top of my list.
Yeah, and the thing with Brandon Blackwell, what I loved about him is like his when he first came out, I remember he did the trunk
Mhm,
handbags and it really set the tone as far as like calling out not calling out, but like spreading awareness in regards to systemic racism against black people. And this was during the time like COVID and things like that, and
mhm,
stuff was going on with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. People that lost lives were lost in terms of like police brutality, and I really liked how he took something like an accessory, like something that's fashionable, and made it into a statement that people could buy, and it just went viral.
mhm,
And also too as well, I love like the thing where I love like how he did, the fur coats also as well too. It was very fun, very expressive, and I love how he did the heel with the taxi cab as the heel. So yeah, it was, he has a very unique way of expressing things, and as far as like messages, but also a unique style of doing fashion.
Yes, I get a lot of my inspiration from him, and I love the messages behind his work as well. It's so inspiring, and it's just seeing the way that, he shows off his work, I
Yeah.
guess.
Hmm.
It just makes me feel like I can do it as well, and that's why I love him so
Oh
much.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, totally, most definitely. So I want to get into as far as your fashion brand, which is an upcycle fashion brand. You create custom denim hats, slippers, headphones, etc. So what has been the journey behind starting your own fashion brand?
Mhm. Well, it's been a really tough journey. I started late 2023, and I actually started just playing around making prints on Canva, and then I would press them on like sweatsuits and stuff.
Right.
And I had my face on them, and it
Mhm.
was like completely different than this.
Right.
And I sold custom stuff like that for a little bit. Um, and then I took a break because I just wasn't feeling like myself and
Mhm.
wasn't able to create.
Right.
And one day it was like, okay, I got all this old denim. I got a random Chipotle hat right here. Let's just see what's gonna happen. I wanna do arts and crafts.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then I
Yeah. Yeah.
discovered that I could do this, and
Mhm.
I blew my own mind. And
Yeah.
then
Right.
I started applying it to shoes and headphones and stuff like that. So that's kinda how I started. But it really started with, like, sweatsuits, which I'm gonna get back into eventually.
Yes, that's absolutely really, really unique, and what I love about what you do, and especially with the headphones, I never seen anyone do like headphones on in regards to denim. So putting like denim pieces
Mhm.
on, put on a set of headphones and like patches and stuff, and it's like a collage type of thing that you have in terms of style.
Yes, yes, I feel that way. Like, when I'm sitting down, I lay out all the pieces I want, and it's so fun. It's just like putting together a puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't sketch anything, I just go in freestyle and have a good time.
Hmm.
And the whole point of my work for me was I wanted stuff that I, again, couldn't find in stores.
Right.
And I was gonna keep everything for myself until I found myself, like, wanting to wear every single thing that I was making out in public. So
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, maybe you should make an Instagram so people can see your work."
Yeah.
And then from there, people were like, "Oh, can I have this hat? Can you sell this?" I'm like, "No, I won't sell this one, but maybe I'll make another one and, sell
Right.
that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm so in love with all my work. It's so hard for me to sell
Yeah.
anything."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to that because it's like when you make something that you take your time with and you make it for you and stuff like that, it's hard to give it up. Like, and
Yes.
things that it's like, wow, I'm so proud of it. Like I can like you're like, I can, make something like this for you. You know what I mean? So like, so that's kind of the things I could totally relate to that. Absolutely, most definitely. So I want to really ask about the process behind your work. So in regards to your process, your creative process, so like, do you draw sketches before you design, or do you jump straight into customizing, like off top of the dome? Like, what's your process like, possibly?
So I just jumped straight into customizing.
Hmm.
A lot of times, I'll have some new denim or something that a friend just gave me, and I'm like, okay, listen, I want to do something very fun.
Right. Hmm.
So I'll just take a whole bunch of random pieces and just start gluing it to a hat.
Hmm.
And then whatever happens from there just happens.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't really know how the pieces fall so well. Like, even
Yeah.
when I'm finished, sometimes I'm surprised myself because I never know how things are going to turn out ever.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always so shocked. I'm like, well, guys, look at how this came out
Right.
because I
Yeah.
had absolutely no clue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's the thing when because I'm like an illustrator and like a nail artist and things like that. Like, I'll have some in my mind, but I don't know how it's gonna turn. And like, the more you work on it, the more you go through the process, the more it's gonna come out the way you want it to, or if or exceed your expectations. So it's like the whole thing where it's
Right.
like a whole toss up.
Right. Yeah. I feel that way as well.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I want to get into as far as inspiration. So where do you draw inspiration as far as your designs? Is it nature? Is it, artists, like, music artists? Like, where do you draw inspiration from?
Mhm. A lot of my inspiration comes from Pinterest. I love just looking at collages.
Hmm.
I'm really into graffiti, so a lot of
Yeah.
my inspiration comes from that as well, in any way that I can, like my version of graffiti, I guess.
Hmm.
And a lot of it Also, it's just what I'm going through at the time. Like, if you were to look at my stuff, you wouldn't probably know that I was going through something so specific.
Right.
But, um, the messages are there in
Right.
a
Yeah.
way. Depending, yeah. So
Hmm.
that's really how I go about it.
So who would you say are your dream celeb clients? Like, if you make something like custom, like a jacket or a hat, like who do you see wearing it as far as like celebrities or influencers or?
hmm So my top influencer is De'Ara Taylor.
Hmm.
You know De'Ara Taylor.
Hmm.
I feel like she loves things that are like custom and one of one and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I could really see her putting on a hat and some shoes and styling it really well.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I just love Chloe and Halle.
Hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know what I would make for them to be in my stuff, but I would figure it out.
Hmm.
I love them so much. I feel like they would embody my work beautifully.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
those are my top three, honestly.
Yeah. I think in terms of your style of work, I could see like Tiana Taylor and Victoria Monet wearing your stuff.
Oh, those are good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And they
Absolutely.
dress really well.
Yeah. Especially
Mhm.
Tiana Taylor. Like she has a very unique
Yes.
style. I could see her
Mhm.
like wearing your hats or like, wearing like a custom jacket or something or
She would make it look so fly.
yeah, it's just effortless. Yeah,
Effortless.
it's just effortless across the board. So for running a fashion brand, what would be some business or branding tips you could give possibly for someone who wants to start their own fashion business?
Mhm. Um, the first tip I would say is to have confidence in your work
Mhm.
and to believe in yourself. Because without confidence, then this is nothing. If you post a video and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm only getting 200 views," it's not gonna work well.
Mhm.
It's all about the mindset that you have. So when I'm posting and I'm like getting 200 views or 500 views in my head, well, that's great. That's 200 people, and I'm happy anybody saw my work at all.
Right.
Because it was a time where I wasn't even posting anything and nobody saw my work.
Right. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think it's just for all about believing in yourself and believing in the journey. Because if you're
Absolutely.
confident in your work, then you know the success is gonna come, and that's the
Absolutely.
way that I operate life. And I mean, at this point, I have been doing this for 2 years. I've stopped. I've started.
Yeah.
I've gone with the flow. But in the end of it all, I know that it'll be successful because
Absolutely.
I'm confident. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely confidence is very, very important. And especially it's a whole thing of, constant, being a person that keeps going and keeps pushing forward despite the lack of like if you get like 200 views or like 300 views or 100 views or something like that or
Mhm.
two or three likes or whatever, it's the thing of, you keep pushing forward and things like that. So, I think sometimes people, especially creatives, whether it's in nails, any type of beauty, fashion, sometimes us as creators we get very caught up in the numbers and sometimes we have to really look beyond the numbers and say, hey, this
Mhm.
is something I'm proud of, I'm gonna post it and I'm gonna keep pushing forward. So that's something that, and of course it happens where we do self-comparison or feel down because we don't get as much the engagement we want. But I think it's a matter of, shifting mindset as best you can and just doing your best and pulling your best foot forward. So
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I do feel like as long as I'm doing my best, that's really all you can
yeah,
do.
right.
So I just show up for myself, and that makes me feel good
Mhm.
while I'm also being able to show my work, and you never know. And even if it's one like or three likes, that's still a person.
Absolutely.
So that's still a customer,
Right.
or just someone to view your artwork, and that's all I could ever ask for.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Now, why is it important for the Black community to support Black independent fashion designers?
It's it's extremely important.
Mm.
Um, it's very important for us to support each other because one, it's a way for us to get into different type of rooms to uh get in different type of rooms to be able to help each other build each other up
Right.
in a way.
Hmm.
And community is so important,
Absolutely.
so if we have each other, then we can go so far
Absolutely.
with, yeah, with things.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I think it's not just being included in other spaces. I think it's also having our own space and supporting each other.
Hmm
I think that's something that we could work on a lot more and not be so dependent on the powers that be to include us and things like that, and I think that if we, like how you said, even if we support each other more, if we come together more and really really support each other, lift each other up, and have our own fashion shows where we can support and fund or whatever it is, I think definitely we'll get very very further ahead, definitely.
Yes, I feel that way. And, it's so important to me to uplift other Black creatives. I do it any way I can. Like, I love flea markets and stuff like that
Right.
because a big thing is I feel like sometimes it's hard for people to promote their stuff,
Right.
and it's hard for people to even showcase their work,
Yeah,
if I'm
absolutely.
explaining.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's important for us to share that or like that and stuff like that, like, get people on the platform.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, most definitely. And flea markets, I've really noticed that flea markets are big, like, especially vintage shops, vintage type of
Yes.
flea markets, things like that where they sell clothes. Definitely that's something that's really huge now, especially in this climate, political climate. Definitely is, just there again, it's supporting each other, it's really, really valuing each other and financing each other. And I think, there's been a talk also too previously where it's been like, oh, Black designers or Black creators don't have the access to capital. And it's something
Mhm.
that, I think one of the things that could remedy that is for us to put our money together or put our resources together, what no matter how much of an influence we have, like, influencer status or celebrity status or whatever it is, put money together and build and help finance each other. I think that'd be something that would be a cool idea for us to do down, in the future or more in the
Yes,
future.
yes, and I agree with that. I actually, my community just did a community free flea market,
Mhm.
and it was actually free for a table. So it was a way for people in my community to come together and sell their things and be able to make some money. And it was one of the most amazing things I've ever did in my life. And
Mhm.
I was also able to network while I was there. So I'll be like doing a class for kids to make their own hats, and it was an amazing way to network
Yeah,
and, like, build each other up, so
yeah,
it is very important, yes.
yeah, absolutely, totally. Now, do you think that Black designers get enough credit or respect within the fashion world? Why or why not, in your perspective?
Oh, absolutely not. Um,
Mhm,
Even as I've been networking a little bit, I've heard a little bit of stories about Black, creators in these spaces,
mhm.
and a lot of that work is stolen. Ideas are stolen, their
Right,
time,
right.
is stolen,
Yeah,
It's really hard to work with a lot of these people
right,
and show up for them and also show up for yourself.
right.
So I don't think that it's easy at all. It's a lot of biting your tongue. It's a lot of putting other people before yourself, and it's a hard thing to navigate.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, most definitely. And I think also too, the reason as to why we don't get as much credit is also exploitation too, and plus it's the racism
Mhm.
behind it. And
Yes.
it's a thing of one thing I've noticed with bigger brands. This isn't all, but like, with bigger platform type brands, especially fashion brands, it is a thing of not giving credit to, like, Black designers or people who have paved the way for certain fashion styles. Like, for example, in regards to Ralph Lauren and like the polo, you know what I mean? The whole Americana style that was from Bobby Garnett. Bobby Garnett, he had his own vintage shop, really selling, like, vintage Americana denim jackets that, the sweaters and things like that. So it's definitely a thing where we need to have more credit as far as the trends that have been set in the fashion world. And definitely I believe that, our culture, especially Black American culture, is the most exploited and the most, taken from. You know what I mean? And I think that, it's just unfortunate how, especially in regards to, I don't know if you heard of Andre Leon Talley.
Mhm.
Yeah, Andre, he was a fashion scholar, and the way
Yeah.
that he was treated in the fashion community was absolutely just unfortunate. And it was a cautionary tale. And it goes to tell you it's about money, power, and access than it is
Mhm.
with, true inclusivity or, credibility.
Yes, I agree with that, and it really is unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want to get into as far as the next question, as far as just, outside of fashion and things like that. So, how do you balance being a fashion designer with life and mental health?
Mm, well, this is the way that I express myself. So I try not to look at my fashion as work or anything
Right.
like that. I
Mhm.
just look at it as arts and crafts.
Right.
And whenever I'm feeling anything specific or I need to get something off my chest, this is my outlet. So
Right.
I would say through this and also nature walks and stuff like that. Like that's where I also get inspiration, but I'm able to clear my head or think about ideas and things like that.
Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah, and there's a saying of like, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life and things like
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
that's definitely the entire thing. You have something that you enjoy and something that's freeing and things of that nature. You won't feel down and stuff like that. I love music. Music, not only doing art, but like just listen to music a lot. Like that, music that makes you feel good and uplifts you and things like that. That helps also as well too.
It really does. I have a specific playlist just for when I'm in my mood
Right.
or in my mood and I'm creating,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's amazing, it, like, works every time I I reach that flow of state.
Yeah, totally. I could totally agree with that. So last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support you and your fashion business?
You can find me on Instagram at thegrunge.lab.
Mhm.
You can find me on TikTok at Solai Next Door, 2 R's, and I'm sorry, what was the last question?
How can people support your fashion business?
Oh, support my fashion business. Well, by the time this comes out, maybe my new website will be up, thegrungelab.com.
All right.
And I also have a Depop, and it's Soleil D.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Soleil, for jumping on. I really love this conversation of getting to know you and your work. Also, hearing your perspective about fashion and how the Black community can support each other as far as as fashion creatives or as creatives in general. So I really enjoyed getting to know you and your story, and I wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Bye bye. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.